There's a conversation most men just don't want to have, and it's about prostate health. But let's skip the usual talk about pills and procedures for a minute. Today, we are going to dive into three simple, science backed habits that you can start using every day, and honestly, they can be absolute game changers.
So, does this sound familiar to you? You're waking up 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a night? That constant interruption? Well, it's not just wrecking your sleep. It's actually a really clear signal from your body, and you can bet the likely culprit is your prostate.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to really understand the problem, what's actually going on. Then, we'll break down three incredibly powerful habits you can start literally today. And just a heads up, that third one, it's probably not what you're expecting.
Right, let's start with those nightly trips to the bathroom. I want you to stop thinking of them as just an annoyance. Think of them as a direct message, a little memo your body is sending you. And it's a sign we really shouldn't ignore.
Now, to get why this is happening, we just need a super quick anatomy lesson. So you've got this small gland, it's only about the size of a walnut, sitting right below your bladder. But here's the crucial part. It wraps completely around the urethra, the tube that urine passes through.
So, the big question is, how can this tiny little gland cause such a huge problem? Well, it all comes down to what I like to call the garden hose problem. And this right here is the perfect way to picture what's happening. See, as men get older, it's totally normal for hormonal changes to cause the prostate to get a little bigger. And because it's wrapped around that tube, that growth starts to squeeze it. It is literally like someone is standing on a garden hose, slowing that flow to a trickle.
And you know what's wild? Just how common this is. By the time you're 60, more than half of all men are dealing with this. Get to age 70 and that number shoots up to 70%. So if this is you, believe me, you are in very, very good company. But listen, this is the most important thing I'm going to say. So many guys just shrug and think, well, this is just part of getting older. But the shocking truth is, you absolutely do not have to accept this as some kind of life sentence. There are powerful, natural things you can do to take back control. Okay, let's get into our very first actionable habit. I call it smart hydration. And here's the twist. The secret isn't really about how much water you drink, it's all about when you drink it. The strategy couldn't be simpler. See, when your urine gets too concentrated overnight, it can actually irritate your bladder and prostate, making you feel like you have to go. So what do? Drink plenty of water during the day, morning, afternoon, to stay hydrated. But then, after 6 p.m., you drastically cut back. This gives your whole system a much-needed break while you sleep. And get this, the results can be incredible. Some studies show that men who just make this simple timing change can see up to a 40% reduction in those nighttime bathroom trips. 40%. Just think about what that would feel like for your quality of sleep.
All right, on to habit number 2. This is one you can start doing after your very next meal. It's so simple, you might even be a little skeptical, but the science behind it is solid. It's what I call the strategic walk.
Okay, so here's how it works, and it's really cool. Every time you eat a meal, your blood sugar naturally spikes. But if you take just a short walk right after, your muscles immediately start sucking up that sugar for fuel. This stops those big spikes, which is huge, because those spikes can lead to chronic inflammation, and that is a major trigger for prostate growth. And we're not talking about running a marathon here. In fact, research from a top journal, Diabetes Care, found that 3 short 15-minute walks after meals were actually better at controlling blood sugar than 1 long 45-minute walk. That's an amazing return on your investment. All right, it's time for our third and, most surprising habit. Now, we've got to talk about this one with the medical seriousness it deserves, because for a lot of people, this is a topic that's usually met with silence. I call it the Harvard cleanse. Look, the science on this could not be clearer. And it comes from a huge landmark study out of Harvard that followed over 30,000 men. The results were nothing short of groundbreaking. They found a direct, undeniable link between how often a man ejaculated and his risk of getting prostate cancer. So, how big of a link are we talking about? The men who ejaculated most frequently, around 21 times a month or more, had up to a 33% lower risk. 33%. In the world of medical research, that is a massive, statistically significant number that you just can't ignore. So you're probably asking, why does this work? Well, think of it as a natural cleansing mechanism for the prostate.
Every time, you're helping to flush out old secretions, dead cells, and other potential gunk that can build up in there and cause problems. And let me be clear, the Harvard researchers were specific. The health benefit comes from the act itself, whether you have a partner or not. So when you put it all together, what's the big idea here? The theme that connects all three of these habits is empowerment, right? These aren't complicated medical procedures. They're simple, daily choices that put your health right back where it belongs, in your control. So here it is, your new toolkit. Number 1, smart hydration, it's all about timing. Number 2, the strategic walk, that quick stroll after you eat. And number 3, the Harvard cleanse, understanding that regular ejaculation is a key part of prostate health. And now I have to be extremely serious for a moment. This is a critical warning. Nothing, and I mean nothing, we've talked about today is a replacement for your annual checkup with a urologist. Things like PSA tests and exams are absolutely vital. Early detection is, and it always will be, your single greatest ally. Please take this seriously. At the end of the day, taking care of your prostate is really about taking care of your quality of life. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Looking at these 3 simple but really powerful habits, what's the one small change you're going to commit to starting today?